Don't hire a bad guy. I know that you may feel I'm kind of misleading you here, but if we don't know who we are hiring, if we don't take the extra steps to get to know a candidate for employment better by exercising due diligence and hiring process and having some actual processes that are documented in our operating agreement, we are failing ourselves. And we never know. Anyone who's hired for your business, no matter how small the task, should still be required to undergo some level of vetting. They would at least seal the deal. I know this is the right candidate for the job. I get it, but it other than do they have a great personality? Do they can they play nice in business, in their jobs? But we're not. I see often in enterprises, small enterprises, that they're not too concerned about do I run a background check. In a criminal background check, um, it can tell you a lot of things. It can tell you very little. They Someone can actually have um, a long history of criminal activity without having a criminal record. They just they even they may have a juvenile record. That doesn't mean that makes them a bad person forever. People make mistakes, but to know as much about the character of the person, then we have to go a little bit deeper. Naturally, it's going to cost some money. So when I consult with people about how do they best vet that person for that particular position, I get more like there's someone they know, maybe from their home country or their neighborhood, and they have established some level of trust in that they can count on that person. And sometimes those relationships break up very quickly because the person, while they have a good relationship outside the job, that a relationship of we're friends but our family, but who's really in charge here, that has to be determined by an operating agreement. It has to be determined in writing, and this actually has to be taught to the new employees, and this should be annual training at the most, depending on the industry, that you conduct as a business owner. If you employ people, you're going to have a long list of things that you have to deal with. Some are really good and some not so great because you're dealing with humans. And everybody has some motivation to do the things they do. Why they go to work, why they want to work where you are, why they want to do things and why they want to do them. Everybody has their own agenda, and that's natural. But not vetting an individual, not doing at least a background check, and you can go just as far as just running a credit check. That doesn't do a whole lot, unless they're going to work. If the person has a problem with money, then perhaps that's not the right person to do your finances. That's just an example. But how much care are we taking as small business owners to actually really know who it is we're hiring? I recently had a chat with another mid-sized business owner, and they had no issues in hiring because and the same crew that they hired had been there for many years from the beginning of the business, because the pay was high, so they had an incentive already that to do a good job, but they were well trained. Everyone was trained really well, so I could see that there were some rules that the owner wanted to make sure that the quality of the service and the quality of the product they were providing to the public were had some sort of sense that they were standardized. And that's the best thing, is to be able to standardize the things that you do. versus, well, I'm going to wing it. Maybe this is going to be a good idea to hire this person in the moment without checking, other than they don't have an arrest record. But I mean, like I said, many people may come up with misdemeanors or something like that. You can discuss these things. If this doesn't affect the person made mistakes, and these things don't affect how they do their job, and they have the skills you're looking for, by all means, do hire them. I think for the majority of the time, most people should, give them a chance to at an opportunity. However, the ones who actually have criminal behaviors that are not documented, of course, that's going to be harder to detect. But like some retail chains, they do the psychological testing. They do personality testing. I'm not going to go through the list of them. There are a variety of them. These indexes that you can take them online to see what kind of person you are and all that. It gives them an idea. Any testing can be hacked pretty much if the person knows about how to answer certain questions, and any redundancies in the examination will clearly reveal that the person is either concealing the answer or not. Some people are really good at taking tests. So they may still be a problem person in the future, but they took a test. So when it comes to liability, you already have that person. You have a file on that person designated as, yeah, they seem to be a good candidate at the time of hiring. So you cannot mitigate everything, but not vetting is a sin. It really is. Not vetting, not trying to dig a little deeper, and how this individual will affect the business itself, how it can affect the security and the safety of other employees and yourselves, and also the public, the people that you serve, your customer base. It is very important to conduct vetting uh, appropriately, something that's appropriate to your particular industry. I wouldn't go too far into paying thousands of dollars for one individual if you suspect that they may not be a good fit. And how you structure your hiring process is important in weeding out, depending on how they fill out the application. So you can put some softer security elements into an application that can help you determine, or the person who's doing the hiring for you. If you're doing everything, that's another problem. When we multitask, that's been proven not effective. You should always hire someone else to objectively look at applications, and whether the X person is going to be better than the other one depends on the skills and what you're looking for. But ultimately, the people you hire should be able to run a nice, well-oiled machine, because you have processes in place, and because you have some rules implemented, and you do some training, even if it's only once a year, when you get all the employees in one room, and get a pot of coffee going and some donuts, and then you sit down and discuss how to be best employees and how to best serve the organization and your customers. And that keeps everyone from feeling that they're left out, or if anyone has any questions about what their roles are in the organization, then these are the times that you should take advantage of, where you can answer questions, even if they've been there for a while. And sometimes you might be surprised if someone who hasn't been employed by you for a long time, they didn't know something, even though you assume that they do, and they come up with that question. It happens. Sometimes people hide not knowing something at work because they feel that they're going to be considered stupid, um, and so they never approach the boss or the owner with any particular question. It can be technical, could be anything about how to make a product and whatnot, and they just don't feel that they want to expose themselves as not being smart. And I've had that happen even with colleagues when I had other jobs. They just don't want to speak up. They continue making mistakes. So having a training program that includes how as a protection, of course, you got to protect uh, people first, your product, property, and the public. So always put people first, but the people working for you should be thoroughly examined before they come in, and should a standardized um, performance evaluation would be another way to assess how, not just how they're doing, what they think, and how they can better serve the organization if you want them to continue working there, or you want to continue employing them, or they want to move up and they don't see any opportunities um, are presented to them. So these are things that you can mitigate that actually are definitely related to security, that could be handled by an HR person, but that as a manager, even the manager should be trained in these tactics, background tactics, but how to talk to people, train them well, talk to them, talk to them like as though they matter, because they should. And this is going to elevate your level of security, because when people feel that um, they feel that they're wanted and they're needed and they're essential, they usually that self incentivized person that's going to come to work, ready to give their best. It's not 100% because we're dealing with humans, but it's pretty close. You have to elevate the person, each person and each individual. So selecting the right individual, and then you have to build them up inside the organization. These are only not security, hardcore security measures that an employer can take and implement in dealing with humans, that has nothing to do with technology or gadgetry or anything like that. It just has to do with human relations that leads to better understanding of your workforce, and hopefully can mitigate any future problems. When someone is disgruntled for whatever reason, you already have um, these uh, these processes already implemented, and hopefully that can lower the level of liability you're going to have, and sitting down with them and possibly even getting to the point of termination. Everything should be discussed up front, what the expectations are. So don't leave yourselves out of being a great employer, and also to nurture and conduct really good management of people, which means not just supervision is different from management, that you're there to build them up. So when you hire people, you have a responsibility to build them up, and people know that. And when people don't feel that their employer is spending any time training them, or giving them more skill, that they can take it either avenue. It's either they become a problem employee or they leave. But for me, my main concern is leaving employees leaving. They should be able to do that and seek better opportunities. But employees who stay, who become a problem to themselves and to your customers and the actual business and the other employees, that has to be mitigated from before you even hire them. You should already have these things in mind prior to hiring. I hope this gives you some thought. Give you pause today. If you're hiring the people, I know it's going to be a new economy, and going through a lot of applications over a short period of time to try to offset people who are leaving. Some people are retiring, and we have people are being laid off left and right. So there's a lot of moving parts right now in the workforce, and hopefully things will stabilize for the next few months. But if you're in that process right now, I really want to encourage you to take some time and devise a good process for hiring and selection. And then you hire someone who actually will go through all these steps exactly the way you want to refine them, with an HR, private HR, if you want to do an online service, who can handle all of these steps for you. And all you have to look at is a summary or a portfolio of candidates presented to you. You shouldn't have to do it yourself. Being a small business owner, uh, ooh, what happened here? So I guess I almost lost power. So surprise. So just be prepared for anything. I want to go check on that electrical issue in a moment. just be prepared for anything. And this is a year of major change, and you should be ready for it. Just hire someone to streamline processes so that you can better hire the best people. So we don't have to stumble over all these steps later on and that they just didn't pan out. So just start winning from day one. Just have a really good plan in place, standardize your processes, and protect your business that way.